Welcome to God with George Ortega. This is episode number 136, and I'm recording it on Saturday, May 1st, 2021 at 1:47 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is an experiment. The experiment is basically I've been talking about cannabis a lot recently, and I thought I would devote this episode and perhaps a few after this to, by example, describing its effects. So let's begin. And just as a preface to this, this isn't an ordinarily good day for me. For whatever reason, I'm not feeling all that great, which is kind of interesting, and maybe a reaction to socio-political reaction to Biden's speech on Wednesday, which I thought was amazing. And maybe there's a pushback against that. Maybe there's this kind of like a, social environment that we're all subject to, that makes us feel good some days, bad other days. There's various ways to explain that. But I say that to to highlight that I am no longer in that state. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the state, just to give you I'm a very philosophical person. So, like, for example, my understanding is that we're here for 100 years, however long, and then we die, and who knows what happens. I tend to believe that we all go to a much better place. Everybody, because why not? Well, no, because we don't have a free will, and it would be wrong. I mean, some people believe that others, just like die and suffer eternally. That is the most hateful belief possible. You got to feel bad for these people, because if they feel that way about other people, you have to wonder what they feel about themselves. All right. Well, I'm not gonna. I want to get back to the subject at hand. All right. The agents. This is like Curaleaf. 20-to-1 THC to CBD. So I've been taking a little of this, and I started about an hour ago. So then this is from Vireo, where there's a dispensary in White Plains. This is a 1-to-1 THC to CBD. CBD tends to kind of be more of a body high. It mellows out the experience. Sometimes if one has taken too much THC, which I don't think I ever have, well, but this is helpful. So if you, let's say you've taken something with THC and CBD, and you feel you're a bit too high, you want to kind of mellow down, so you take more CBD. So again, this is half, and this one is another THC. Okay. So, and let us continue. So I'm going to take the THC, the 20-to-1, because I want to try to describe the effects. I want to get as high as possible during this episode, perhaps the next one, however many. Got to make sure I stay hydrated. And yeah, because because this is making my day worthwhile, and hopefully also to help you understand the experience, to just really to be able to overcome the myths, the lies, the lies. I mean, the really sinful lies that so many people have promoted for so long about this stuff. So yeah, all right. So this is again 20-to-1 THC CBD. All right. When I was growing up, the idea was well, you hold it in as much as you can. the smoke, so it gets, you know, into your system easier. And this isn't smoke, this is vape, which means that, like, instead of the THC, CBD, the terpenes and all that stuff combusting, burning, they just vaporize. It's a temperature below the burning point so that nothing gets burned, nothing gets combusted. So it makes it extremely safe, you know. So that's good. All right. Because yes, I want to promote this. And like, this is good. This is good. I was feeling lonely too, because like, here's like, all right, this is going to be personal about my life too, because I want it to be, because it's my show. I can do whatever I want. And because like, you know, I'm living in a world, I've been a vegan for like over 15 years, about 15 years. I've been a vegetarian for about 25 altogether, 92, no, over 30 now. So, and like, you know, I'm living in a world where like, what, about 2-3% of people out there are vegetarians, maybe 1% are vegan. And in my, I like people, I love people. This work, this series is for people. But I also like honesty and truth. The truth is people suck so royally, so bad. I mean, like, and I mean, this isn't kind of like an opinion that's based on feeling. This is more of like a conclusion that's based on logical reasoning. And let me explain that reasoning. If someone were to ask me whether I had a choice of being either a slave or an animal in one of these factory farms where they grow the animals and literally torture them, you know, before they get on your plate, I would definitely choose being a slave. If one were to ask me, well, all right, you can be a Holocaust prisoner or in one of those camps, or be an animal in one of these factory farms, I would definitely choose to be in a concentration camp than in one of these farms. So what is a person to conclude? If people, and this is like, this kind of logic doesn't, it's not difficult to understand. You don't have to be extremely intelligent to understand this. This is basic logic. So this is the world that I'm living in. And I'm saying, what the? And you know, and you know, so but you know, thankfully, because I have concluded to myself, well, damn, it's not gonna, you know, what good is it gonna do to you, for you to, or anyone, well, maybe to others, I'm like, if you were able to communicate this, fine, but like, what good is it gonna do for you to just like be miserable about this all the time? Because of considerations like that, you know, I'm fortunately can be very happy, you know, which is like really my default state. I mean, if I'm less than very happy, something is wrong. And it's not about the cannabis, because like, you know, I started doing this medical marijuana, whatever, um, 2 years and 4 or 5 months ago. And it's been amazing. It really has been amazing. I mean, like in a lot of ways. And this pandemic thing, I guess, has made it be a bit surreal. And I'm so, thank you, God. Oh, this is I'm supposed to be talking. All right, God, I'm going to be talking to the audience today. I've talked to you and I've ignored them a lot. And maybe that's why I'm feeling so bad. Maybe these people out there, you know, watching this series are saying, huh, he's talking to God and he should be talking to us. So maybe they're kind of like cursing me in some kind of like, you know, cogno spirit, you know what I'm saying? Like, but anyway, yes, I'm very fortunate to have cultivated happiness methods that have me maintain my happiness, notwithstanding how evil everyone is. And the thing is, and it's not, you know, that part of it isn't funny, because, you know, the cruelty, but another consideration relative to my everyone's viewing the world, ourselves and each other, is that you have to, and another reason I can continue to love people and love myself is that I remind myself, well, wait a minute, you know, we don't have a free will. Things are, I mean, if you had a free will, you'd be happy all the time. You know, you'd be a perfect angel all the time. Come on, get real. You don't have a free will. So like, so obviously like, so, you know, these factory farms and, you know, everything that happens is really God's will. Now that invites a question because I would like to think of God as all good. But come on, give me a break. I mean, like if God created the world and there was nothing that existed but God before God created the world, obviously God not only is everything in the world, but God completely controls the world. And come on, think about it. Like, because if you're positing otherwise, that's idolatry. That's kind of like a power adjacent to God. And I'm sorry, I mean, God may have created Satan, you know, this evil force perhaps, but even Satan or any other good angel, whatever, could not have a free will because of the same reason we don't have a free will. Enough on free will. All right. Oh, this is good. I like this so much better. It's kind of like, you know, I'm 63 and I'm going through this phase of like becoming more honest. Like I belong to a congregation and I'm going to talk about whatever. Again, this is like, and this is a very spiritual experience. Okay. So like this cannabis stuff is really about God, because if you want to get, you know, you think, you know, God from reading Torah, just like, you know, going to services now, this will give you a deeper understanding of who and what God is. So within that context, all right, hold on. All right, so I joined a congregation and like I'm in the process. I haven't done all that much about it, but like I'm in the process of like, you know how like gays come out of the closet, you know, in psychiatry and in mental health and all, it used to be called the rubber room in the 50s, like, you know, or a padded cell, you know, and it's now it's called the quiet room. If a person, if somebody in a psychiatric, see like some words like that have like powerful emotional meaning, because I've been in these places in the past. They're sometimes tough to get out, but a lot of people, like if they talk about like people who are mentally retarded, something like that phrase, a lot of people can't say phrases like that very easily because of the emotional connection to that. It's a very common experience. But anyway, so I'm in the process of kind of like just becoming more real, more honest, who I am, you know, and not as a bludgeon, you know, I don't, you know, as and actually this is kind of like well, it's a bit courage, it's a bit desperation, it's a bit what the, because like, you know, at 63, I mean, when I was younger, I could relate to people better, maybe because I didn't think as much. I don't know but or no, because people were so much cooler when we were all younger. You know, we were more positive. You know, as we get older, you know. But and I guess I've gone there too, because you know, my you know, my focusing on making the world better, politics and all, which sometimes can't avoid, you know, going to the unpleasant places. All right, so basically what I wanted to say is that this is you know, it's a bit of an act of courage to you know, to do this also. But yes, I think it's important for you to understand. Again, I'm very, and and you can see that it doesn't really affect my cognitive processes. I mean, what it does sometimes affect is short-term memory. Like, and this is like, as we get older, we have this experience sometimes. You go into the kitchen and you ask yourself, why did I come in here? So like, and knowing that, so like, you know, this, like, again, I've been doing this over 2 years. I mean, you know how to navigate the terrain. You learn that. So like, I wouldn't undertake anything that takes a lot of focus or anything right now. Although, you know, I should probably like start writing, you know, but this is, I guess, I'm too why don't I write? I don't know, because it's a lot of work. And this is the Sabbath. This to me doesn't feel like work. It's communicating with people. And for people, who who God has ostracized from the community, people like me that, right now I have very few people I connect with, that, and then within the Jewish community also. So like, to me that, and I also like, the rabbis weren't all that sharp. I'm sorry. That they didn't get, today's rabbis don't get like how horrible eating animals and farming animals the way we do. They don't get that, how horrible that is. That tells me no, I'm sorry, they're just not such great moral authorities, and because they're not all that bright, really. They've got great minds. They're amazing repositories for knowledge about Judaism and stuff. But come on, if they were really that good, they would at least talk about it. They don't want to offend their congregations. So anyway, I'm basically, that's one part of my explanation of how I can, will not only record stuff like this, which some people would claim is violating the Sabbath, and also upload it. So other people, who are like bored out of their minds because this damn pandemic, they could just, oh, this is interesting, for half an hour, whatever. So, and one thing about, like, if I were like to consume, let's say, a 6-pack of beer and do this, well, no, personally, I was going to say that I might get belligerent and stuff. But no, probably I'm a good drunk. I don't drink anymore because like it doesn't, and I'm not saying it's not a good thing. It's a wonderful thing for many, 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 many people. And I'd like to begin drinking eventually again. But it's not like I ever overdrank, but I hardly ever drank anyway. But anyway, like, yes. The good thing about cannabis, as hopefully you're noticing and I'm experiencing, is that it doesn't lend toward aggression. To the opposite, on the opposite side, you feel more connected. You feel, whoa, this is like this. You feel like like you're in an amusement park. You're looking around, and the stuff that you're seeing is what you've always seen, whatever your room and stuff. But the whole experience is a lot more novel. It's more, so I'm segueing completely with courage and daring and stuff. So basically when I heard myself saying the word novel, that inflection at the end, going high, reminded me of a person who I really love. But unfortunately, either it's not ever meant to be, or it's certainly not meant to be right now, because that's obvious. and one of the experiments in my life is like, well, I don't care if she doesn't love me back. I'm going to love her for her sake, because I think it's probably a good thing when somebody loves you, right? And also for my sake as well, to enjoy that. And it's going really well, actually. It really is. So yeah, it's kind of, and this is kind of like, getting back to like, how this might be benefiting her. For example, there's a kind of meditation called metta, METTA. I think that's Sanskrit for loving kindness. And basically, during this meditation, you send loving kindness to people. In your mind, I wish, so and so many blessings. I forget. There's a phrase they use, or I send loving kindness out to you. I send, So anyway, so like, I believe, speculation, whatever, but I believe thinking positive thoughts, wanting the best for another person is efficacious, that God hears it, the universe hears it, and, it may not always be as effective as we would want, but I do believe it has some manner of efficacy. So anyway, so yes, so oh, now my jaw is like hurting a little. And actually, now I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm talking about this woman, and I'm not going to mention her name or any other details, so know who she is. But now, and again, with this episode, I'm just going to flow how it goes. Yes, sometimes when you're on cannabis, trains of thought don't always get completed because you get, yeah, what was I talking about? So, which is fine. And, again, you've got to accept that to really enjoy it because it can be funny. It really can. But anyway, right, so with this woman, yeah, I feel a little guilty, to be honest, because well, you know, there's kind of a line between kind of like communicating with someone in a way that is pleasing to them, complimentary, and and communicating to them in a way that's kind of like a come on or a pursuit, a romantic pursuit. And so unfortunately with this woman, I crossed the line. So like I am like, I am in the eternal doghouse, you know. So which limits, my real world, shall we say, communication with them in terms of like emails. But it doesn't limit, I can still love the woman, and enjoy loving her, which is like, yes, so it's fine. The glass is not completely full, but it's half full. That half fullness feels wonderful. It really does. So, oh, this is so cool. Because like I didn't know what to do today, and really, I really hadn't been feeling that good. Well, yesterday, and I don't know why. It just came. It's like, it was like maybe it's kind of like the weather wasn't all that good yesterday. I don't know. But anyway, I'm glad that I'm not there anymore. I'm here, and I'm here because of stuff like this, which is like, it's a medicine. For goodness sake, it's a medicine. Read the literature on it. Read the reports, epilepsy, pain relief, anxiety alleviation. I mean, so much. Um, and thankfully, it's completely not just medicinally legal in New York State. I mean, in a lot of other places, and we're ramping up on that. All right, so so this has a casual dimension, social, hedonic, pleasurable, but it also has a spiritual dimension. So let's devote this next toke to God, and all right, we've got about less than 5 minutes on this episode. What I'm going to do is, yes, devote this next toke to God, and then start talking about God. End this episode, start the next one, and hopefully get back to talking about God. Because again, I think that may have been part of the reason. That may have been like, it may have been a punishment, like after so many episodes of like my just talking to God, God saying, hey, the show really should be about you talking about me, not to me. So I'm going to make you feel so bad over the next day that you will like come off of your tolerance break of 4.5, 5 days and consume. And then maybe you'll start talking about God, which is what happened, apparently. So, all right. So let's do this. Oh, well, I'm gonna say my regular food blessing. Although I've got to come up with a special blessing for this. I'll just have it be impromptu right now and think about it, and hopefully just incorporate it into my life. Thank you, dear God, for this wonderful gift that causes me to feel closer to you and to the rest of your world. All right. So now I'm feeling guilty about talking about you, God, as if I should really be talking to you, and that whole line of reasoning that preceded this was faulty. So, all right, under 2 minutes. No, God, yes, I do really feel like I'd rather talk with you than with them right now, even though I was talking with them like, for so long. I don't know why that is. We'll explore that. Well, yes, the first reason I can come up with a logical reason. It's that, like, whenever we're talking to ourselves or to each other, it's like puppets talking to other puppets. Whereas if we're talking with God, then we're talking at least with the source of not just your thoughts and actions, but the other person's, who's in this case God, which is amazing. All right, we've got a minute and 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. No, I'm not going to count down to zero in that way. I mean, I could have, I should have probably, but that's all right. All right, so yes, I am feeling good, and I will do another episode after this, or perhaps another, because I'm not doing anything else today, and this is fun. This is more fun than what I was doing. So I hope you guys are having, a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of the effects of medical marijuana, cannabis, and especially its mood enhancing without cognitive deficiting. That's pretty good. I got that out. Effects. So so it does allow one to retain a sharpness if that's where one wants to be. So yeah, I guess it's kind of a choice. All right. So, all right. So catch this every Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. It's also on YouTube. All right. That's all I got time for. See you soon.